Hello everyone! Today, we'll be seeing how fast Cloyster can beat Pokemon Yellow in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. Yesterday, we finished up Pokemon Emerald when we talked about Pokemon Emerald with Deoxys Normal and Deoxys Speed forms, and it was definitely fun doing a versus video again, but they definitely are quite a lot of work. And anyway, today is Christmas Eve. I hope you're all gonna have a fun time with family, but we don't have to worry about that for like 25 minutes or so. Let's talk about Cloyster and Pokemon Yellow, shall we? We have 50 HP, 95 attack, 180 defense, 85 special, and 70 speed. We are in the slow level up group, which is not that great, but at least our level up moveset can easily make up for that for sure. And also, 50 HP is not that good for a defense stat that good. I mean, we're going to survive physical hits nicely, but it's not as good as it could have been. And if we take a look at our level up moveset, since this is a stone evolution, we get 4 level 1 moves: Aurora Beam, Clamp, Supersonic, and Withdraw, and then at level 50 we get Spike Cannon. The only real advantage with Spike Cannon is it's a multi-hit move with 100% accuracy, but it's still not that good of a normal type move. So by level up, pretty much Aurora Beam and Clamp are our only good moves. Plus we could use Withdraw to activate the badge boost glitch, but here's the funny thing. With how high our defense is, when we get to the later parts of the game, we might end up getting 999 defense before we can fully badge boost, so that's going to be pretty funny. And if we take a quick glance at our TM learn set, just like most water types, we don't really get much coverage. We get the usual water moves and ice moves, and we get the good normal type moves. And by good normal type moves, I only mean Double Edge and Swift. This thing cannot learn Body Slam. But honestly, it's not like it really matters though. I think we're mainly going to rely on special coverage. But why don't we continue into this run and see how it goes? As you can see in the background, we're not really going to do much training at all because Brock is going to be an absolute piece of cake. I do enter Brock's gym and take out the Light Years Junior trainer first because he is literally free experience. There is no reason to skip him. But with him defeated, we get to level 9 and we're ready to take on Brock. Brock leads off with his level 10 Geodude. I go ahead and use Clamp, get a miss, get another miss, and then finally I hit it. Then on the Onix, it goes for Bide and then Clamp one-shots. Theoretically, I could have just gone Aurora Beam both times to be more consistent, but I wanted to get the one-shots, so I figured I may as well go for Clamp. And believe it or not, Clamp is going to be such a great move in this game because of how trapping moves work, where if you use a trapping move on the opponent, they literally cannot move until the move is over, and if you outspeed the opponent, you could theoretically infinitely trap them. Well, I'm going to try to hold on to this move for as long as possible. But we don't have to worry about that right now though, because we're still stuck with our level up moveset. And I can basically just continue on through Route 3 and Mount Moon with ease. Although while in Mount Moon, I do decide to get the Water Gun TM and teach it. This was an absolute waste of time. I should not have bothered getting this because I'm going to get Bubble Beam pretty soon, and I'm most likely going to delete Water Gun for that. I mainly got Water Gun for PP reasons because I do want to do some training in Mount Moon. Because like I've stated earlier, we are in the slow level up group, and by the time I get out of Mount Moon, we can arrive in Cerulean City. So now, we have to ask ourselves the age-old question, should we go fight Misty or Rival 2 first? I want to take on Misty right now. I probably could get away with teaching Bide or something, but I'm thinking, you know what? I don't need Bubble Beam right now since I have Water Gun, so I'm going to go fight the Rival first. He leads off with Spearow, it outspeeds and goes for Peck, but thankfully that wasn't a Growl. Well, honestly, if it was a Growl, it wouldn't have really done anything to me. The rest of his team are all 1 to 2 shots with Aurora Beam. Although the Eevee is a 3-hit because Eevee has surprisingly good special. I always forget that. And with the Rival defeated, the Route 24-25 Gauntlet of Trainers doesn't provide any problems. I make sure to pick up a Charmander for Cut and Dig later. And I can make it back to Cerulean City at level 21. So let's go take on Misty. She leads off with Staryu. I'm going to go ahead and 3-shot it with Aurora Beam, and due to her good AI, she's only going to use Tackle and Harden on me, so I can effectively just spam Aurora Beam for free without having to worry much. It is going to be a little bit slow, but then again, even if I had taught Bide, because of how high my defense is, it's not like I would really retaliate much damage anyway. And then as soon as Misty is defeated, I teach Bubble Beam in the place of Water Gun. But still, looking back at this run, I could have just fought Misty first. There would have been almost no risk of me dying to her. And interestingly enough, you wouldn't expect the 3 Pidgey girl and the Rattata Raticate guy, or Spearow Raticate guy, sorry. You wouldn't expect those trainers in front of Vermillion to provide any problems. Surprisingly, I get pretty close to dying because I was expecting I could just make my way through without healing. But the Raticate does definitely try to knock me out. But fortunately, it doesn't work. And then in Vermillion City, once I get on the SSN, the only thing I'm going to get is the rare candy blocked off by the gentleman with Growlithe and Ponyta. Since we don't learn Body Slam, and I actually do not want Rest, there's nothing else to really get on this boat. Plus, the rival fight on the boat is an absolute joke. It's the exact same team as Rival 2, maybe like 2 extra levels at most, and like, you have much better moves by this point, like Bubble Beam or Body Slam, or even Seismic Toss for that matter, depending on what you're playing with. So this fight is almost never worth talking about. But with the rival defeated, we gotta go take on Lieutenant Surge. I do kinda worry about him. I'm easily gonna get one shot with Thunderbolt. Let's see. Surge leads off with his singular Raichu. I gotta hope it wastes turns with like Growl and X speeds and Mega Punches. And on turn 1, Raichu goes for Thunderbolt. There's no way I'm surviving that. I'm just gonna do a quick reset. On the second attempt, Surge does the exact same thing and uses another Thunderbolt. Dude, come on Surge, quit playing good. On the third attempt, it does go for X speed, and when I realized how little Bubble Beam was doing, I decided to actually switch to Clamp to try and trap the Raichu. And I end up getting another reset because of Thunderbolt. But I think the best thing to do is just spam Clamp and hope for the best. And this fight takes me several tries. You may be asking if it'd be worth it to just backtrack to Surge later. I do not think it's worth that because after you get Fly, you'd have to walk back to Celadon, go through Saffron, go south to Vermillion, beat Surge, and then fly to the tower. I honestly think in that amount of time, you can afford like 3 or so resets on him. But either way though, even at the higher level, Thunderbolt would still one-shot. I think maybe the difference is I could outspeed it, but with the slow level up group, I highly doubt it. But anyway, with Surge defeated on the 4th try, I can get the bike voucher, get back to Cerulean City, get the bike, and do the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet of Trainers. With access to ice moves and water moves, almost nobody in this section of the game can provide a problem. The only Pokemon I don't have good coverage for are the Slowpoke, but what are they going to do? And then I can fade my way to Celadon City. The first thing I'm going to do is actually go into the Rocket hideout. Normally the rare candy in here is actually a good idea to get for Pokemon in the slow level up group. It only costs 1 trainer battle to get this rare candy, so it's not that bad. Plus there's high money items in here as well if I want to get some more vitamins. Usually if I end up selling the Double Edge TM, the 2 Nuggets and Horn Drill, I could afford potentially 2 extra vitamins, but I may end up keeping Double Edge, we'll see. And as soon as I pick up just the Double Edge TM, the Nugget, and the rare candy, I immediately dig out and then go to the department store. I should have grabbed the extra Nugget that was in there. I think I just forgot about it because I did do this run quite a while ago. But on the roof of the department store, I do give this girl all 3 of the drinks because I want to sell the TMs for money. Well, not the Ice Beam TM, but I want to sell the other ones. And with all of the good stuff sold, I can go ahead and buy some vitamins. And today's vitamin of the day is 3 calcium. I want all the special I can get. I feel like that's pretty obvious. And theoretically, I could have bought an extra 4th calcium, but I actually decided not to because otherwise I wouldn't have enough money for Pokedolls and Super Repels. So I think 3 calcium will do for now. And inside of Pokemon Tower, as you see me fighting the rival, I do now have Ice Beam on my moveset. I taught this move in the place of Aurora Beam. And honestly, my moveset is very close to completion. I do plan to teach Surf in the place of Bubble Beam though. I know Scott isn't a big fan of Gen 1 Surf because Surf isn't really too useful in the league, and if you teach Surf you can't unlearn it. But honestly, I feel like if you get the same type attack bonus, it becomes your most powerful move. And besides, it's not like Cloyster gets much coverage anyway. And with Pokemon Tower cleared out, the world is my Cloyster. Get it? Anyway, I can do a bunch of different things. The first thing I do though is get the TM for Swift. I do plan to use this move for a later fight. And then, there's a few other things I could do. I could either go through Cycling Road and head down to the Safari Zone, I could go fight Koga, I could fight Erika, or I could do the training in Silph. And right now, I actually choose to fight some of the good bikers on Cycling Road. There's plenty of bikers that have Weezings and Mucks. They're very good training. It's just the problem is these guys consistently love to poison me. It is really annoying. Plus, I only usually have one full restore by this point. It's the one I got in the underground. If I end up using it and I get poisoned again, I'm gonna have to end the training early. But fortunately for me, I don't get poisoned until I'm already done with the training anyway, so I'm able to head down to the Fuchsia Center and heal it off. Then I can enter the Safari Zone, get myself the Carbos, the full restore, the Gold Teeth, and the HM for Surf. There's also a free protein here, but I don't really plan to use physical moves that much, so I didn't even bother getting it. And now that I've obtained Surf, I can go ahead and teach this move in the place of Bubble Beam. My moveset right now is Ice Beam, Clamp, Withdraw, and Surf. This is going to be my moveset for quite a bit. And at this point, I could either go take on Erika, Koga, or do Silph training. And I actually decide to do Silph training. What I tend to notice in Pokemon Yellow, with the exception of Erika, the final several gym leaders have quite high level jumps, but the Silph trainers are actually the same levels. And I know where a lot of the good trainers are in Silph. I have a predetermined path I like to take. It's pretty much a good idea just to do the Silph training first. Funnily enough, out of Koga, Sabrina, Blaine, and Rival 5, Rival 5 is actually the lowest. I think in the game with the level jumps, I think it's intended after Erika, they want you to do Silph first. In fact, when I start the Silph training, I'm level 32, and by the time I finish, I am level 38. And I feel like at level 38, I'm more than ready to fight the rival. He leads off with Sandslash. I go ahead and use Ice Beam for the one-shot. Then on the Cloyster, I go ahead and just spam Clamp. The funny thing is, due to the rival's good AI here, his Cloyster will only use Supersonic. So I pretty much just used Clamp to avoid hitting myself. But even if I were to hit myself, my defense is really good. Then on the Magneton, I do fortunately survive 2 uses of Thundershock. But sadly, since the Kadabra outspeeds, I end up getting knocked out with Psybeam, giving me a reset. I realized at this point, since I am in the slow level up group, it might be worth using a few rare candies. Maybe not for the damage output, but at least get enough speed to outspeed the Kadabra, and at level 40 I have 85 speed. And the Kadabra has 84 speed, so this is just perfect. And it ends up being the difference between getting my butt kicked and winning the fight at green HP. So yeah, using a couple of candies was definitely the answer. Then I can pick up the Lapras for strength later, destroy Jesse and James as well as the Giovanni fight. Now I can either go take on Erika, Koga, or Sabrina. And out of these 3 gym leaders, I choose to take on Koga first. Honestly, I think Erika would have been the easier gym because I have Ice Beam, but at least the trainers in Koga's gym give pretty decent experience heals, especially the ones that have Sandslash and Arbok, so I don't think it's a big deal to do this place first. Koga leads off with his first of 3 Venonats. I do outspeed all 3 of his Venonats, and the main plan is just to spam Clamp and hope for the best. Clamp is able to knock out the first 2 Venonat, and then on the third one, I use 1 Clamp followed by Surf for safety. Then on the Venomoth, it does outspeed and go for Toxic, but fortunately for me, I do get off a Clamp, and then the Venomoth just uses Leech Life followed by Psychic. And sadly for me, my damage ranges were just barely not enough, and the Venomoth ends up at red HP, and I die from Toxic damage followed by Psychic. So yeah, that was a very close match. Then on the next attempt, I decide to go for Ice Beam on the Venomoth, and I actually get a freeze. Yeah, that's the way I win, totally. And with Koga defeated, I can go get the Strength HM as well as the Rare Candy. Oh wait, no, I can't get the Rare Candy. I gotta beat Erika first. I often forget this when I skip her. Let's go take her on. She leads off with Tangela. It is a one-shot with Ice Beam. The Weeping Bell is a one-shot with Ice Beam. And the Gloom is a one-shot with Ice Beam. Okay, I think overworld routing here was a little bit bad in the mid-game. I think I should have fought Erika first. But oh well. After beating Erika though, we do have our first 5 gym badges. I can go take on Sabrina now for the 6th badge, but I actually don't want to. I actually want to go surf down to Cinnabar Island and go take on Blaine first. Just because I'm a water type does not mean Blaine is going to be easy. He has random AI in Pokemon Yellow, which actually kinda helps him, because good AI might make him prevent himself from using Fire Blast. But Fire Blast is going to do some pretty decent damage, especially since our part Ice typing will make us neutral. But then again, with the random AI, the Rapidash might just spam Growl or something. But let's take a look at the fight. Let's see if we end up either winning this or getting our asses kicked. Blaine leads off with his Ninetales, it outspeeds and goes for Confuse Ray, and it looks like Surf is going to be a 2-shot. I do get hit with a Tail Whip, but it's not really like that's going to matter. Then the Rapidash ends up going for Fire Spin followed by Takedown. Then I hit myself in confusion, get hit with a critical hit Fire Spin, and yeah, I just completely get destroyed because of that. I mean, this is essentially how Blaine works. He's either really easy or really hard. It's a good thing though, during the fight, I get to level 45 right before the Rapidash, which is over a damage rounding threshold. And then on the Arcanine, I end up hitting myself in confusion, getting hit with a pretty nasty attack. And it does look like I'm going to be very close to dying, but at the very last minute, the Arcanine goes for Reflect instead of Fire Blast or something like that. And because of that, I'm able to just barely win this fight. And then with Blaine defeated, before I take on Sabrina, I'm actually going to go ahead and teach Swift in the place of Clamp. I mainly kept Clamp around for the Koga and Blaine fights just in case I needed them, but I don't need it anymore. I'm going to go for a much better strat on Sabrina. She leads off with Abra. My plan is to actually set up 6 withdraws to badge boost my attack, and if I get hit with Flash, that's just going to be more badge boosts. I continue setting up here until I'm at plus 6 defense, minus 4 accuracy. This badge boosts my attack to be over 300, but at the very last minute, I level up before the Alakazam. This was actually pretty bad because that reset my attack boosts, but fortunately for me, Cloyster comes through, gets a critical hit, and I don't even have to worry about that. I can guarantee you, if I had lost there, I would have just used a rare candy. And even though Sabrina could have been hard, the one gym leader I don't think is going to be hard at all is Giovanni. He is still very good in yellow version, but I am still using a water ice type. So let's go take a quick look at Giovanni before we take on the league. Giovanni leads off with Dugtrio. I one-shot it with Surf. Then on the Persian, I set up to plus 2 in my defense, and since the Persian has Screech as well, I theoretically could do infinite badge boosts, but I don't need that many badge boosts. I just wanted to make sure I could outspeed and one-shot the Nidos. And fortunately, I do end up doing just that. They don't get a chance to use Thunder, and I end up beating Giovanni. So yeah, so far, Cloyster has been doing pretty good, and half of our resets at this point have been on Lieutenant Surge, with the one reset on Blaine, as well as another reset on the rival in Silph. I feel like the Silph rival one was preventable, but the other one's not so much, it's just pure luck there. Then on Rival 6, I end up getting a reset because the Magneton paralyzed me with Thunder Wave, and I end up going way too slow, and by the time his final Flareon comes out, it's actually able to deliver the finishing blow. As soon as I lost to the rival, I actually realized I forgot something. I went to the department store, buy a Pokedoll, and then I'm going to go here and pick up the TM for Mimic. I'm not going to end up using Double Edge, so I ended up throwing that TM in the garbage to ensure that I had room for this TM. I'm going to teach Mimic in the place of Swift. And you may be wondering, how is Mimic going to help on the rival fight? And the answer is, it really doesn't. I ended up winning this fight at around 77 hit points remaining. I effectively just got lucky and the Magneton didn't even end up using Thunder Wave, so I was just pretty lucky there. I was really expecting maybe I'd mimic Slash or something, but I honestly didn't really need to. But I will need Mimic for the League though. And speaking of the League, here we are. I heal up at the center, buy some full restores, and now we need to take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. The first member of the Elite Four is Lorelei, the Ice-type user. She leads off with Dewgong. My main plan here is just to spam Surf on it. It does end up going for Rest on turn 2 as I expected, but then the problem is, this thing is going to take so many Surfs to knock out, and you may be wondering why I'm doing this. My plan for this fight is to make it to the Slowbro so I can mimic Amnesia and make the rest of the fight easy. And I'm not really worried about the Cloyster because of its low special, but defeating the Dewgong is definitely going to be the most difficult part. And at 10 resets into the run, I'm able to get to the Slowbro, set up some Amnesias, and my health gets really dangerously low. And then at the very last second, with the fact that Body Slam's doing very little damage, despite the fact I get paralyzed, I'm still able to defeat the Lapras. Next up is the Fighting type Elite Four member, the Hiker. The Onix is a one-shot with Surf, the Hitmonchan's a one-shot with Surf, the Hitmonlee's a one-shot with Surf, the Onix is a one-shot with Surf, and the Machamp is a two-shot, but it just uses an X defend. Next. Agatha leads off with Gengar. It is a safe strat here if I want to mimic Substitute to block any uses of Confuse Ray or Hypnosis. Or I guess not really Hypnosis, because for some reason in Generation 1, Substitute does not block sleep moves. I really don't know why. However though, even with Substitute, this fight can still end up being random, because the first Gengar does have Mega Drain, and even though it has Mega Drain, Agatha still has random AI, so she's not guaranteed to go for it. But another example of how Substitute could be useful is it can block Lick from paralyzing me, which would be very good. It takes me until 13 resets into the run to get the luck I need on Agatha, and despite me being paralyzed, I'm able to just barely win the fight. Next up is the Dragon type Elite Four member, Lance. Lance leads off with his Gyarados. I go ahead and use Ice Beam for the 3-shot. The Gyarados just went for Hyper Beam, which fortunately didn't do too much. Then the two Dragonairs are one-shots with Ice Beam, as well as the Aerodactyl and the Dragonite. The Aerodactyl does outspeed, but with how high my defense is, what can it even do? Funnily enough, the easiest Elite Four members were the Hiker and Lance. Lorelei was more annoying than anything, and Agatha is just pure random no matter who you're playing with. And now, we just have the champion left, so let's go ahead and finish this run. The champion leads off with Sandslash here. What I do right away is mimic Earthquake to use on the Magneton later. At this point, I'm actually going to set up some withdraws, and something that actually gives me a nice helping hand is that the first time the Sandslash used Slash, it actually got a Generation 1 miss, potentially saving me from one guaranteed crit. And at +4 defense, Earthquake is able to one-hit the Alakazam, but unfortunately, Ice Beam is going to be a 2-shot on the Exeggutor. It was so close too. I either should have set up more withdraws or talked Blizzard at this point, and because of that, I have a Leech Seed active for the rest of the run. But honestly, the Leech Seed didn't even matter. I didn't level up during the entire league here, and I go ahead and clock in with a real time of 52 minutes and 32 seconds, with 13 resets at level 58, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 3 hours and 6 minutes. To be fair, Cloyster did very good in this game. It does have to deal with luck strategies for Surge, Blaine, and Agatha, but to be fair, Most Pokemon kinda have to rely on luck at those places. Most water types have to deal with luck at Surge, there's just really nothing you can do about it. And Blaine tends to be difficult no matter who you're playing with. I think the only time Blaine isn't truly difficult is if you're spamming moves like Earthquake, because his Pokemon have pretty decent special stats, and Cloyster's special is not that great. So other water types will definitely have an easier time at Blaine. And Agatha is just inconsistent no matter what. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this Pokemon Yellow run. Cloyster did far better than Onix, but that's honestly to be expected. But I'm still happy I did Onix though, because it had some pretty unique strategies. But anyway, today is Christmas Eve. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. And also, Daily December does continue. I've already finished all of the games that I currently play for the year. Tomorrow though, we're going to be doing another solo run video. It's going to be a game that I've never done on the channel before, and I hope to start doing it. I will see you tomorrow on Christmas. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow as we continue Daily December.